Hello and welcome back to ScreenBlue.com.
In this lecture, we're going to learn about polymorphism. So what is polymorphism then? Polymorphism derives from the Greek word poly, meaning much or many forms of a set. Poly means you got many forms of set, right? So it's derived from the Greek word. Polymorphism in programming refers to the ability to use same methods in different types, or different ways for different objects or different types. However, in polymorphism in programming, it kind of takes the concept of poly, means you can use same methods in different ways. For instance, I've got this vehicle parent class here. Okay, that's kind of also a view of inheritance. You can see here, I've got this vehicle class. It has start and stop. Now, SUV, semi, and motorbike are the child class of vehicle, right? They also have the start and stop, right? All these classes have start and stop. However, they operate differently than vehicle, right? So you've got the same method name, right? Stop, start, start, stop, but they operate differently, right? They come in different forms, right? And it's kind of like polymorphism in programming language. So now let's see how we can do it. So let's say here I've got this vehicle class and I've got these three variables, right? We're using encapsulation. Okay, we're doing good here. Trying to use the features of object-oriented programming language. I've got this constructor here, which requires make, model, and year, and I'm initiating, assigning this private variables to this parameters here. And I got this getter methods, and you already learned about the getter and setter methods. And I got the start and stop here. So it says starting and stop, right? That's the vehicle class. So now I've got this child class SUV, right? Which inherits the parent class vehicle, right? And now here, as you can see, I've got this constructor here. And since it's the same parameter, I can also say, okay, this make, model, and year, just like the parent class vehicle. Now I've got this start and stop here. Now you can see here, I've got this. Now you can see here, I've got this start method here, and it's kind of printing starting SUV vehicle. As you can see here, right? In my vehicle class, it would just say starting. However, in the start method here, it says that starting SUV vehicle, right? With make, model, and year. It's going to give me make, model, and year. Same thing stopping. It's going to give me make, model, and year. Right? So you're kind of doing the polymorphism here, right? You use the same method, but your output is different, right? It's coming in different forms, right? The output is different from the parent method, okay? Same thing with the semi, okay? The semi extends vehicle here, and it's got the constructor, just like the parent class here. So you do super, and you provide all these parameters, make, model, and year. And I've got the start and stop, and as you can see here, it's saying starting semi vehicle, right? Before it was SUV, and right now it's a semi, right? So based on your class, you can actually use the same method but have different outputs. So now I create another class here, motorbike, right? It's a motorbike is also a vehicle, and it's also a child class of vehicle, parent class, and same thing as start, stop, right? So I got this starting motorbike, right? So the output here, again, it's different. Now, if you create the main class here, static void main method inside this polymorphism class here, so first I create an SUV object. Like I said, SUV Toyota equal new SUV, and since this SUV requires three parameters, I put a Toyota RAV4 2015. Then I'm actually printing the break line here, and it's going to say, I'm actually calling start and stop. Then I create a semi object here, and I said, semi Volvo, new semi, and I put the free parameters in here, and I said start and stop. And same thing with motorbike, right? Harley equal new motorbike, and I provide the make, model, and year of the motorbike, and say start and stop. So now you can see here, right? This is this break line here, and it says starting SUV vehicle, make Toyota, model RAV4, year 2015. Stopping SUV vehicle, make Toyota, model RAV4 2015. And now create semi object here, starting semi vehicle, make Volvo, VML, year 2015. Stopping semi vehicle, same thing with motorbike. So you can see here, I'm using the same method, right? So I do not have the start, I have the same start and stop method, just like the parent class, right? However, the output or implementation is different, right? So you're using the same start and stop, right? You're using the same start and stop, you're using the same start and stop, but it has different implementations, right? That is, in a nutshell, called polymorphism. All right, so now you understood what polymorphism is. Let's try to go to our IntelliJ here and create some classes that actually uses the polymorphism. So I'm actually going to create a package here. I'm going to call it polymorphism. So here, first I'm actually going to create the vehicle class in here. So here I'm actually going to create private variables. Okay, we're going to use the encapsulation feature here. I'm going to say private string make and private string model and private int year. Right? So then I'm actually going to use this IntelliJ shortcut and do getters and setters. So I create three. So I got all the getter and setter methods here. And this is actually what you do in real time as well. And that's just like you do in real time projects. So you create getter and setter methods. And if you have any other method in this class, then you create them here. So here I'm actually going to create an instance method here. I'm going to say start. And basically it's just going to say system.out.println starting. Okay, I'm going to say public void stop. Say system.out.println stopping. Right, so I got the start and stop method. Okay, I'm going to call them instance method in the comment here. Right, and that's what you do in real-time project as well, right? You create a class, you create a variables, private variables, then you create getters and setter methods. So now I've got this vehicle class. Right now let's create the SUV class in here. And I'm actually going to do here extends the vehicle, right? So in here I'm actually going to do public SUV, and here I'm actually going to do the same thing, string make model int year. Oops, and I also forgot to create a constructor in here as well. Bad. So normally you would create a constructor after creating a variable. So I'm going to call vehicle, let's say string make model int year. And in here I'm actually going to do this dot make equal make, so this dot model equal model, this dot year equal year. Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're actually assigning this private variables to this parameter here, right? So whenever you create a new object, whatever the make is going to be assigned to this variable, right? So now it's going to throw an error saying that okay, there's no default constructor in this vehicle blah blah class. So I'm actually going to do super, and in here I'm actually going to do make model and year. That should be it. In here I'm actually going to create a start method, and here I'm actually going to call void start, and in here I'm going to say now in string.format. In here I'm going to say, so that's for the make, okay, and I'm just going to do model, also integer is year, okay, let's say like that. And in here, I'm going to say make model and year. Alright, and now as you can see here, it's kind of throwing an error, right? Because I don't have make model and year. So the way you could actually do is use the get method here. Okay, so I'm actually going to do get make, okay, get model and get year. There we go. Bingo. Since I'm actually inheriting this parent class, I can also call this get make model and get year, which is inside the vehicle class. That's what I have in the start method. And now let's call this stop method here. Just gonna call stop, and here I do stop, and here I do stopping. All right, so I got this SUV now, right? So I'm actually going to copy this. It's a lot faster for me. So I'm going to do semi. And in here, as you can see, as soon as I copy this and I renamed it. So what I did basically was, okay, I'm going to show you again when I do the motorbike. So basically, what I did here, I just copied and copied and pasted here, and I refactored the name, and now it automatically changes the constructor name to semi as well. So now this is good. So here I'm actually going to do. Yep, that should be good as well, right? So in here, I'm going to have make model near starting, make model stopping. So I can actually use this one. So in here, I'm actually gonna see what I did here is like I'm gonna actually copy this. So you can do right click and copy. Then you go to this package and paste. And in here, I'm actually gonna make it motorbike. Alright, so you can see here it automatically changed that name of the constructor with this class name here, and it's also extending the vehicle and it has start and stopping. Alright, so now I'm actually going to create a new class in here. I'm going to call it Polymorphism method, okay, which has all this object in here, public static void main string args. Alright, so first I'm actually going to create a vehicle. Create object from parent class. Okay, so I'm going to say vehicle v1 equal new vehicle. And as you can see here, it has parameters. I'm actually going to say, let's say Ford F-150 2012. Let's say v1 start. So now I'm going to say create SUV object here. So I'm just going to say SUV v2 new SUV. So here I'm actually going to say Toyota RAV4 2016 v2 start v2 stop. Copy this, and here I'm actually going to create a semi, and here change to semi, and here I'm actually going to change semi and make it v3 v3 v3. Alright, so here I'm actually going to change the semi name to actually Volvo. Okay, then I'm going to actually make it VML. Let's say 2010. Alright, so that should be the semi. Let's create now a motorbike object here. Motorbike. So let's make it V4. And let's say motorbike. And here, call motorbike. And here I'm going to say Harley. And here I'm going to say Samsung. And here, let's say 13. So now I'm going to say V4, stop. And I want to separate this output here. So what I'm actually going to do is actually going to string with this dash hyphen in there. So it's going to separate the output. So that's that, and that's that. Alright, so now we created an object from this parent class. We created an object for this SUV, created an object from this semi, and created a motorbike object from this, v4 from this motorbike object. And they have the same method here, v1 start and v1 stop. Right? From the parent class all the way to 3 child classes. Right? So now let's run this guy here. Let's see here. First one, right? v1.start. It says starting. And second says stopping. So now create an SUV object here, v2. It says Toyota RAV4 2016 starting. Toyota RAV4 2016 stopping. Semi. Volvo VML 2010 starting. S1 stopping. V4 that Harley Samsung starting, stopping. You see here, I got this same stop method, but it has a different implementation. You see, that is called polymorphism. You got the same method name, but it has different implementation. It has many forms, right? That is called polymorphism in programming language, or Java programming language. Alright, so that's it for this lecture. I will see you guys in our next lecture.